Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Today, I want to take a little time to discuss the tragic events in Buffalo, New York, the supermarket killings. I don't want to talk about the specifics of them because I don't want to give this person any more attention. I definitely don't want to mention their name or show their face. But I do want to talk about not so much the actual event, because we all know that that is horrific. Some monster did a horrible thing. But I want to talk about some people's reaction to it. I want to talk about the people who immediately have to jump to conspiracy theories, to misleading information, and most of all, to false flag accusations. First off, I want to say, if you believe in false flag operations of this scale, then you're a moron. Because you'd have to be pretty fucking stupid to think that you could get away with something like this. It's like the people who said Sandy Hook is a false flag. You're a retard. That's all I can say about it. If you actually believe that's even possible, you've just shown how completely ignorant you are of how the world works. You're a brain-dead moron, like I said. Because there's no way something like this would work on this scale. You'd have to have so many people involved, so many people planning. You'd have to have actors. You'd have to have a rehearsal. You'd have to have, control of all media access, all outside media access. Everyone who was walking by with a cell phone, everyone who was actually there in the store, they all have to be in on it. All the law enforcement involved, they'd all have to be in on it. And all it would take is one or two people with actual proof it was fake coming forward before the whole thing would fall apart. The only way you can have a conspiracy theory with just 5 or 6 people is if you kill at least 5 of them afterwards, because someone's going to talk. In this case, they'd have to, not only would they have to perpetrate this thing, pull it off, they would then have to, murder everybody that was involved, police included, for it to ever have a chance of succeeding. So those people, succeeding, not succeeding, those people who say, oh, it's a false flag, you're a retard. Get off my fucking channel. Keep it to yourself. Don't put it in my comment section. I don't want you here because you're obviously a waste of fucking skin, and I don't need you taking up space in my comment section. That being said, people who want to put forward false information. One of the things I saw happening right away is everybody on the far right jumping on, this guy was a leftist. He was a socialist. Bullshit. He's a white supremacist. You don't see a lot of white supremacists on the left. He was preaching about replacement theory. That's a right-wing theory. Sorry, hate to break it to you. If you defend the far right, you're no better than people who defend the far left. If you're willing to say, oh, these things, far right people don't do these things. Bullshit. They do. They're fanatics, just like the far left people are fanatics. Just different ends of the spectrum. So if you think the only way you can defend your positions is to defend the extremes of your positions, well, then you're probably not holding any positions worth defending. So enough with the false information. Now, with that all being said, let's get on to the conspiracy theories. That's a little bit of a different story. Now, I don't believe vast conspiracy theories. There are conspiracies, of course. People conspire all the time, especially in government. And I know a lot of people think, well, there's a lot of coincidences here. Right now, we've got the Ninth Circuit saying that 18-year-olds have the right to buy semi-automatic rifles and handguns. We've got the left, especially the administration right now, faltering on gun control. They're not doing very well at all. And you've got the left losing the black vote right now. They're getting less and less of the black vote every year. And then it seems kind of suspicious that an 18-year-old goes on a rampage with a semi-automatic rifle in a black area. Yes, I can understand that seems like kind of a strange coincidence. Now, do coincidences happen? Yes, most everything in the world is a coincidence. There's no grand plan, in my opinion. I don't believe in destiny. But do things like this sometimes get orchestrated? Yes, they do sometimes get orchestrated. especially if someone thinks it would be politically expedient for them. And I don't mean they go out and fake it, but at any given time, people in the ATF, the FBI, the CIA, etc., are in contact with these nut jobs, these monsters, these disgusting pieces of shit, like the guy who did this. And they know that at any given time, they're one poker prod or, one word of encouragement away from going and doing something like this. So would it be hard for an agent, not just an organization, but just a single agent, who thought he was doing something that would benefit his political ideas or the administration that hired him or whatever, to put something like this in motion? No, it wouldn't be hard at all. In fact, we've seen cases of it. For people who think, oh, the government would never do anything like that, or agents would never do anything like that. Remember Fast and Furious, where we're arming drug cartels? Remember instances like here in Portland, Oregon, where the FBI tried to get a guy to go bomb the Christmas tree lighting ceremony. And they convinced him to do it, and then they arrested him when he got there. And it looked good for them to, we arrested him, we stopped him, we're making people feel safe. They orchestrated that. They do stuff like this. So is it necessarily a coincidence? It doesn't have to be. It can be. I'm sitting here right now saying when tragic things like this happen, I tend to just deal with what happened. I don't want to give false information. I don't want to scream false flag because that's pretty much impossible. And I don't want to sit and say, oh, it's a conspiracy. Because here's the reality. Disgusting people do disgusting things all the time. No matter what tools they have. Timothy McVeigh killed a lot of people, didn't fire a shot. Disgusting people do disgusting things. But sometimes it does look very suspicious. And I would say in this situation, like I said, 18-year-olds looking like they're going to get the right to buy guns, the administration faltering on gun control, and the Democrats losing more and more of the black vote every year. This seems like it was a perfect solution for a lot of this. Because now they can use this as an argument for why 18-year-olds shouldn't be allowed to have semi-automatic rifles. And, this is why we got to have gun control. And, oh my God, this was against the black community and the Democrats stand with the black community. We'll do what we can to protect you. We'll even strip people of their constitutional rights to protect black people. It all seems a little too perfect, doesn't it? And I can agree with people who think that that's possible because we have history of that. So don't think I'm telling everyone out there that, if you've got an inkling in your mind that this seems awful convenient and that there could have been some manipulation involved, well, you're not crazy because that happens all the time. Like I said, the thing in Oregon. We've seen this time and time again from the government, from the FBI, especially when they want to make people feel safe. They'll convince some bad people that were thinking of maybe doing something that, yeah, you should do it. And they'll even give you the supplies to do it sometimes or arrange for you to be able to do it. And then they'll catch you and go like, look what we did. We stopped this crazy person. But they orchestrated all that. Do you think they would really allow a few lives to stop them from orchestrating something that could save their administration, save the voting base, save one of their principal arguments, for gun control, etc., and for one of their arguments for not allowing 18-year-olds to buy guns? Of course they would. I don't think they would stop at a few lives to do something like that. Look, how many lives do you think they've cost by arming the fucking cartels? Thousands of lives. And that was all about politics too. They wanted to be able to say, look at all these American guns that are getting into the hands of the cartels. We have to stop the flood of American guns into Mexico. But they don't tell you, we sold all of them to Mexico. We actually went to gun shops on the border and said, hey, these people are going to come in and make an illegal purchase. Let them. The government did that. So do you think they wouldn't sacrifice a few people in a parking lot in a grocery store to push their agenda further forward? Of course they would. So I'm not telling everyone out there that is suspicious that you're wrong. I'm just saying you can't get anybody to listen to that argument if you're saying things like he's a socialist, he was a leftist, how he voted for Jimmy Carter, all that kind of crap. Because that muddies the water and no one wants to listen to anything else you say. And if you're like, it's a false flag, it never happened, these people were all actors, well then people just assume you're crazy. and they just walk on. They don't listen to a thing you got to say because then you've proven you're either insane or incredibly stupid. So stop muddying the arguments. Accept that bad people do bad things. Accept that sometimes they are awfully suspicious. But don't go to the crazy end of the spectrum like false flags. And don't muddy the story or muddy the argument with things, like false information. Stick to the fact that this is a tragedy. A horrible person did a horrible thing, and it's kind of suspicious. And then talk about things like what we've seen the government do before. Could this be something they've done now? Do they need to be looking for the agents who were in contact with this guy? Everything that's coming out about this guy right now, I can't believe for 1 minute there wasn't some sort of agency involvement in what was going on. That they didn't know he was there and they weren't talking to him. You'd be hard-pressed to make me think that. But like I say, that's a lot different than huge conspiracy theories or false flag stuff. That's something we know happens. And that's the kind of stuff we need to be paying attention to when tragedies like this happen. But then we also, like I said, we have to accept that sometimes bad things just happen. We need to deal with them, and we need to think of ways to prevent them from happening in the future through either better law enforcement, better mental health care, better screening of people, paying more attention to people when they do something negative that indicates they're going to do something like this. There's all kinds of things we can do to prevent stuff like this. The tools don't matter. But in the end, like I said, we're going to have to accept that sometimes shitty people just do shitty things, and there ain't shit you can do about it. All right, everybody, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed the show, which seems odd to say considering the subject matter. I really do appreciate you coming, and I hope you come back again tomorrow. Until then, I just want to remind everyone out there to always carry and stay safe until I see you again.